Hello, it's me, Dr. Mario. Location known. And I got the sub 17.5 on Donald Plains 1 Fast Lab. Feels good, I know. However, today's subway vlog is going to have a little bit of a different tone. Because I actually got a few things I want to get off of my chest. And, you know, I tend to draw comparisons to things. I tend to think you know, the world of Mario Kart DS is somewhat similar to the world of pro wrestling. Now you're saying, well, the timing of this video is kind of odd considering all the John Cena heel turn, everything that happened there. Well, I'm not turning heel. I'm just saying what I think. And if you want to say that's a heel turn, then that's up to you. But I want to speak my truth, man. Alright. Before even going into the 17.4 sub 17.5, there's just, stuff that I want to get off of my chest. Well, we can start off on a good note. I'm number third. Number three worldwide. Dale Earnhardt, Intimidator. Is that someone I look up to? Probably, yeah. There's a new show coming out about him soon. So yeah, let me start off with just the modern world of Mario Kart DS. It's all right. There's no drama, except for all the pudding stuff, which is stuff that I refuse to comment on publicly anyway because I wasn't involved. And the proof standards too. Is it a good thing? Yeah, I do. I think it's a good thing. But don't take it from me. I'm not really a prominent figure within Mario Kart DS as far as executive hierarchy goes. That's not a position I want to hold. That's not really a position that I want to be in. I'm just fine being me, playing, getting times, not wasting no time on other people's problems. And it's sad to say, but it's true. You know, it's nice to have someone to lean on. As far as in your own personal life, you might want to confide in somebody and give them somebody, a little bit of guidance, advice. Like that's a little bit different. But as far as the community goes and causing trouble and all this and that, sorting things out, picking sides, that's not me. I don't follow the politics within our community. It's not me. Um, which is going to lead me into my next sort of points. I'm just kind of not really. This is kind of off the top of my head. I got bullet points. So I'm probably gonna miss some. Might throw some more in. Who knows? Um, but either way, number two after the current scene is the everything that's been going on, you know, in general. Uh, this coming from my perspective now in the modern scene is just there's really nobody that I know. You know, I mean, the only real people that you know came from I guess my era, which I like to term the Renaissance era of all of us new fellows that came in and sort of MKDS got a big bump of activity than when we was on the go. Not saying it's not being bumped now. Obviously with the summoning salt video back probably last fall, still riding that coattails. Um, it's just me and Quantum pretty much, and Quantum doesn't play. He's tied down with his personal life and tied down with the updating. He's a member of the updating team now, so good for him. Uh, not sure what he's gotten himself into there. Definitely not a job I'd like. Give you that, but it's just my 2 cents on it. You know. Yeah. Um, yeah, and the proof. as well. That's a really good system we got now. You know, it'll catch cheaters quick. It'll put a lot of pressure on people to, you know, not only get good times but prove them as well, and take the game more serious. It's like me now, sitting in this basement. I mean, I can't show you, but I pretty well have like my own sort of little office space here. Actually, fuck it, I might as well. This right here, kind of my own sort of little space for playing the game. I guess I got my screwdrivers there, magic jar parts there, Game Boy Advance SP there, um, USB drive here, old monitor there, but it kind of fits the what do you call them, using the desk. Old battery, DSi XL, that's what I use. DSi XL, a bunch of parts here, and I mean a lot of parts. Pens for whatever reason, and a few motherboards, and yeah, it's top screens and that. But hey, you know, trying to think now, what else is new? I want to go back to something that maybe a lot of people forgot that I said. This is when I came back last year in 2024. That video that I accidentally uploaded on my other channel that had the same name, it's been deleted now. But I said that, you know, Dr. Mario, as time progresses, it's almost not me. It's more of a character. But like back in the early days, like the first vlog and all that stuff, that was me. That was authentically me. That was to the point me. But like as you grow up and you kind of hold on to this childlike nature and stuff, you know, you want to be the good guy, that kind of Hulk Hogan, like going back to wrestling, Hulk Hogan, drink your milk, take your vitamins, eat your vegetables, all that type stuff. But that's not me anymore. But I'm not saying like I'm some sort of cutthroat, like, you know, sinister, like sadistic freaking, you know, clown. You know, I'm more of like a Stone Cold Steve Austin figure. Stone Cold, yeah. Undertaker, maybe too, yeah. Um, all I'm saying is that, you know, you kind of have to be a bit selfish to get to the top. That's coming from me. Some of you may disagree, and that's okay. It's your opinion. You're entitled to it, and I can't control it. But to me, you have to be a little bit selfish and a bit of a prick. You know, you can sugarcoat that prick word, but a bit of a prick to get to the top, you know. And that's like me now. I don't be active in Discords. I wouldn't say many new casual players know who I am, for better or for worse, you know. But like another thing too with myself is that I don't feel like I fit the average, you know, demographic of Mario Kart DS players. I only think it's like pretty well like high school age, college age, like sort of young people trying to find their way in life. And then MKDS kind of dies off now. For me here, you know, I treat it almost as a profession now because let's face it, it pretty well is. I take it serious. You know, I'm always playing it all the time, looking for ways to improve, and I'm going to get to another point later on improvement. But Mario Kart, yes, yeah. Uh, you know, the demographic with me, I mean, I never got my grade 12. I kind of, well, not properly. I did, but not the way I should have. Flunked it. Well, didn't flunk out. Kind of got into a bad life situation, bad people, bad decisions. A lot of it was my own fault, but you know, when you're playing Mousetrap, right? You know, someone's got to set that trap for the mouse still too, eh? So you don't know who to blame. But whatever. That was almost 2.5 years ago now. That's my own personal stuff. That's beyond MKDS. Not that many people will care. Going back to getting better as well. But the thing is too, like, you can either look at a whole freaking like absence of you playing as man, I missed out on all of this time when I could have been playing, getting PRs. Like, imagine where I could have been now, right? No, 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 no. I figure that's what all people fall into a lot. How I looked at it, and that's how I thought of it in the beginning when I came back to MKDS. But right now, I'm back, and I think of it this way. I came back with this new, because New Year's resolution, Christmas time, and the reason I came back to MKDS was pretty much we kind of got laid off of work after the New Year. Everything was kind of in limbo. Our job was yada yada yada. I got time. That's all I'm saying. I got a lot of time. So I came back to it with fresh. It was a new year, but it was a chance not only to get better, but a chance to reinvent the player that I am. Long gone are the days of organic strat, long gone are the days of, PR, 5, 6 PRs a day. That's not me anymore. Me, I'm more of like grind one track or one cat. If I'm grinding Peach Gardens, I'm grinding the flat for a solid week or two. Then I'll go for the 3 lap. That's me. Because there's different strats in both. I'm kind of look into the fine detail of it, and then grind. How I play now, and if anyone wants to steal a little tidbit of my information, is I'll play each cart, and then I'll move on. So if I go BLS, I'll go all BLS tracks. But then it depends. I'll pick up maybe a little skill here from BLS, oh Jesus, more technical BLS skill on one track that could translate well into a flatter BLS track. Right now, standard tracks, and obviously as you play more and more, you'll get better and better and better and better at that cart. So that's how I play now. And I am a rankings guy too, yes. Obviously, number one overall is the main goal. Even though I've gotten 2 world records this year, that number one spot is still the main goal. You can take it as you wish, but it is what it is. And you had to be a little bit selfish if you want that goal. But the thing is, I can see the tip of the mountain before I'm there, but I know it's going to be lonely when I get there. But it's kind of lonely now, even more so that I've climbed up. It's kind of been less and less people with me. But that's what you got to risk. I know, would I rather have a good network of people? Would I rather have a community of players? Or would I just rather my own achievement? And that goes back to Abel too. He's kind of had a community of people around him. He's been at the top. Maybe he can relate a bit. That's really good for him. He's been a nice help to me personally, and also, on a professional level, as far as karting goes, helping me with what times to grind, and Matthew Oder and Marisa and everyone else doesn't go unnoticed with that either, because obviously going from organic strats to more modern strats fast is you need a bit of help. And don't ever be afraid to ask help. Anyone wants help on a track from me, reach out. I'd be over the moon, to help someone else maybe on their little quest. But yeah, going back to that mountaintop thing, right? The selfishness of it all, the community thing. And that's the broader MKDS community as a whole. I mean, I'm talking the umbrella, the casuals, everyone. And I hate to put my name up with these guys with Dasher, Tag, Beta, and then myself, right? That's all, And I coined the term. It was the legend, the prodigy, the dark horse, and the underdog. Okay, that's what I said. But everyone likes good underdog story. Let's face it. Whether or not that be Iceland versus England, U.S. 1980 Olympic team. Um, can't think of any really off the top of my head, but it is what it is. Yeah, but like the thing with me is like I feel I'm very underrated within the community, and that's kind of something that I don't say it really is something I'm upset over. I know it's kind of something maybe I kind of done to myself more so, just the circumstances of being away from the community and just coming back and that. Um, I wouldn't say my efforts go unrecognized. It's just that when it comes to like casual players and that, I'm not mentioned that much. Kind of like Serveev in a way, you know. And he's a nice guy, really good inspiration too. Um, but yeah, you know that mountaintop thing, like, and that's with Taga too, and Dasher. They're kind of like the poster boy. Well, Taga really being the boy poster people for MKDS. Do I really scream poster boy? No, I don't think so. Um, but again, I'd rather be like some guy back in the shadows, sort of doing my own thing rather than sort of having all eyes on me, right? That's just who I am now, anyway. Back then, I would have said, "Oh, I'm doing this for the fame, for the clout, for the recognition," you know, and all that now would be nice. And I'm saying this right now. I would rather be a cocky, arrogant prick than a fake humble bragging than someone that's fake and they humble brag. Right? That's all I'm saying. You know, if Summoning Salt one day ever makes a non-PRV champion video, Mario Kart DS, and I'm the champion, hell yeah, I want to be in it. Hell yeah. You know? And that's like, Abel's documentaries about MK Dasher. Man, that was awesome. I never got no documentaries made about me. And that's like the Japanese community sending Tag a freaking R4 because they think he's like the next big thing. I never got that treatment. If I've had people say, oh, talking about me and Rupa, saying, you're comparing a world record player to a nobody regarding me. You know, hindsight 2020, I'm the guy with 4 current world records and Rupa has none. So that kind of turned around. Aged like milk. Not gonna name names, but it was somebody that actually commented on my last video, and it's odd though that those type of people will still hang around, but that's the world we live in. Um, Maybe people are just sticking around to see my demise. I ain't cracking under the pressure because there really is no pressure. I really like having fun at this. The sub volume 3. Yeah, this is me now. This is who I am, I guess. Um, you know, I really do love this game. And when I say never gonna retire, never gonna retire, never, I mean it. I'm, young man, soon be 20 years old, pretty healthy. No carpal tunnel issues or nothing like that. I'm not chronically online like a lot of people. I have a, I have a life outside of Mario Kart DS. Um, and yeah, I'm a lot more careful too. And I know 3 years ago was kind of the time that everything went down, like sort of left the community and everything. But that won't happen again. Knock on wood. Uh, but yes, not to make it any longer than it needs to be. I got to get back to work because I know Abel is going to come back and he's coming back for that record hard. But this thing about Abel, me and him went back and forth, beating each other on different times, different tracks. So guess what? I beat both of his times on Yoshi Falls, man. And now I took his world record. And take it from me. If you want to take someone's bread and butter, you might as well steal their toaster too, so they can't come back. All right. This is Dr. Mario, Dale Earnhardt, number 3. This is the D.W.O, the heel turn. Doctor World Order. See ya. Pimp.